motion, please?
I'll move.
Mr. Smith made the motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wilkerson. Ms. Blue.
Okay. Item A is the approval of the annual audit for 2013-2014 with West Virginia State Auditor's Office for $29,920. Item B, the approval of a transportation agreement between Amanda Booth and Lincoln County Board of Education to transport students who handle pre-K-8 for school year 2014-2015, according to the terms of the agreement. Item C is school volunteers who on occasion may also serve as bus chaperones or provide transportation for students to and from athletic events, academic competitions, or school outings, who have provided proof of private vehicle liability insurance and have completed volunteer orientation.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
I'd just like to make a comment. I think I made this perhaps last year, but it just simply bothers me that a state agency would charge a poor little county like Lincoln $29,920 to do an audit. I know the audit is complex, I'm very much aware of what it contains, but I think this is terrible.
You concur? Maybe Risa can take that over. I agree, Larry. It's, we're all of our county and then auditing our schools, I assume all that burden comes up on us. Somebody's got to pay for it. So, being a factor, but I share your sentiments. Anything else from anybody on administrative? Okay, if not, that's all call for votes. Is that all yes vote?
Yeah.
Yes. Let me go to the finance section. Have a motion, please. Mr. Curry, second by Mr. Baker.
Okay. Item A, scheduled invoices totaling $490,505.94. Have invoices available if anyone would like to look at those after the meeting. We have budget supplements of $3,897,549.26. We have budget transfers of $246,356. Now, you guys should have had attachments, and remember when I did the financial presentation and see, you said you would like to see how the money rolls over. Now, do you want me to come up and explain this a little bit, show you? Okay.
Now, we're talking about monies that we've gotten and then we're going to budget them, correct?
Well, you wanted to know our balances that we had at the end of the fiscal year, how it got rolled over into the new year.
Well, that's what I mean. Monies that we haven't already budgeted.
They're gonna come over, and I'm budgeting them out here now.
Yes.
So if we'll look at the one that says budget supplements. And of course, what I usually just give you guys this printout that just lists what I'm doing. But what I did this time, so you'll know, is I gave you the data that actually gets entered into our accounting system. So you see all these printouts here, all these different account codes.
Okay.
Okay? Now, let's go back to, let's go back to this page and then just let me go over a couple things here with you. It's the first
It's on
page.
the back.
Back to the first page. Okay.
Oh, you guys got two pages. Okay. And if you'll see there in August, the very first item is an encumbrance carryover for Fund 4-1. So when I closed books on June 30th, I had outstanding encumbrances of $5,000. So those come into this new year. Okay. The next item, and this is also 4-1, which is our improvement fund. We had three unpaid expenses, $5,388. So that took care of all the carryovers that needed to happen for the Fund 4-1 account.
What does 4-1 represent?
That's our permanent improvement account. That's what we used to build the high school and the Harts schools with. So all of our big projects go in the 4-1 fund. So right now, we're only, as you can see, there's only $10,000 in that 4-1 fund because it's pretty much spent out. Actually, we had one more item the other day that we paid on that, about $5,000 to Jordan Electric for some final items at
It's the cart.
Cart. card readers. Okay, then if you look at the next group that's coming, those are 7-1 accounts, and that's the, what we call the Obama money. And this should be the last year of the Obama or ARA money. So you can see there was open encumbrances that got carried over 69,000. We had some receivables, reimbursements receivable, 41,000. Then we had some encumbrances without a receivable of 69,000. Then we had, and this is probably the one you need to look at, is reinstatement of expenses, so $167,000. That's what we had left to spend in the Obama account. And we have just completed, as of the 31st, completely spent out those programs, and that will hopefully be gone. We're finished with the Obama accounts. Okay, then if you look, go down to the 6-1 accounts. This is where we, our special revenues, all of our special projects that we have. Item 108 is encumbrance carryover. So those are the POs that were still open and unpaid when I closed books at 85,000. We did a reestablishment of the expense budget of 1.8 million. So that's the expenditures budget that we have to roll into the new year in Fund 6-1. Then we had some receivables of 346,000. We had some encumbrances without receivables of 76. Then we had to reinstate revenue. And then this is just a counter entry that I have to keep everything in balance, the 1.3. And then you can see all these, everything, all these items get budgeted into a specific account code if you need to go look. Okay? Then let's go to the 1-1 accounts. And as you can see, all of this got carried over in August. So by the time I closed books in August, I pretty much knew what all these numbers were, so they got rolled in. When I closed books, we had $398,628.15 in open purchase orders. So closed books, that's a balance, you roll right into the next year, and it comes in exactly how it was in the prior year. So if I had $5,000, say, in diesel fuel, it rolls right over into the new year, $5,000 PO diesel fuel. So all of those things carry over exactly as they were in the previous year. Okay. The next item, reestablished expense budget of $900,000. And those are mostly our little local projects that get carried over. And then we have reimbursements receivable. So we had some receivables when we closed the books. And then we had some encumbrances that didn't have a receivable with it. These are just a kind of accounting entries. Reestablished revenue budgets, I had $5,839 in revenue. And then here's the number that I gave you guys, our reestablished unencumbered and unearmarked at $415,000. Remember when I told you that's our true number, that we don't, that's our free money. So actually that just comes over in a reserve account. So out of all of these numbers, that's really what we have is that $415,000. Right? And then the other entries just to keep me in balance in my expenditures. And then we just go down, then that starts in September, that's new grants that are coming in. Like special ed, they got some additional money over and above what I had budgeted in the spring, $26,000. And then the state special ed got an additional $5,000. And then remember the softball grant from the governor's office that we chased around forever and ever and ever. That's the $10,000 on the governor's grant. And then we had to match that with $1,000. So that's where that's coming into our budget there. So that's where we're at as of today.
Okay, now, let's go back to the 415,000.
Okay.
Is that just kind of in the general account right now, and it hasn't been
It's in-
designated for anything specifically?
Right. It's in a reserve account. So it's just sitting in there, I just went paying $415,000 reserve account. But everything else that came over, it's in a specific line item.
But this is the only money that's not
Yes.
technically
Allocated out to a
obligated to.
specific,
We have not had, right? We have the 415
yeah.
currently have it.
Yes, I haven't budgeted out to anything, it's still sitting in that reserve account. Yeah, yeah, that's the key word, there's some things.
Yeah, you know what
but-
I'm referring to.
Mhm. Okay, does that?
Yes, that's
Helps?
correct,
Okay.
yes. Now, you may want to, a address this otherwise, but just when the county, the county tax office, they reconcile their books for the year, does that have any impact on ours in any way, shape, or form?
The only thing is I use the sheriff's settlement. That just shows how much they gave us during the year, and I reconcile what they gave us to what I received in.
But that doesn't change in any way once they complete their year? They don't say, boy, we're gonna give you a little bit more money or anything? Okay.
No.
So, well, I guess what I'm saying, so this 415 is pretty much is all we're gonna have to
Yes.
work with, is that
Yeah, that's
correct?
it. No,
Okay.
that's it. In fact, we're being audited right now. Those are the solid numbers. So unless Sarah would find some mistake that I made, but, you know, I've been doing it
Sarah
for 20.
being the auditor,
Yes,
right?
I've been doing it 20 years, and I've never had an auditing adjustment, so, but you never know.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure there
Yeah.
was maybe
No,
another
it doesn't, Steve.
source gonna come
No.
in and give us a little bit more.
No, that's it. No, there's no
Okay.
extra that was gonna come for anything.
And each one of those accounts, that they're broken down in these pages behind.
Yes, and want me
Right.
to, well, let's just, let's look at the 415. Let me just show you, if I can, so you can see where it actually
Let's
went.
say, go find it.
So that's adjustment 118. Let me see if I can find it here.
You think it's a page or something?
Yeah, wait, 1 minute, let me, Okay, go to page 24 in the computer.
Backside of the upside, then. Okay.
Okay, if you look at the bottom here, there's journal entry 118, reinstate unencumbered, unearmarked budgets. So I have that in an account that is reserved for contingencies, 415-701, and then that's the offset is into the fund balance. So everything is somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that help, Steve?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I wanted to see. Is
Okay.
Just whenever we, on those rare occasions, have additional funds, and that haven't been budgeted in the spring, when we prepare our budget, when those come forward, I'd just like those to be noted, because sometimes we can overlook them,
Yeah.
where you don't, obviously,
Yeah.
but we could.
But, you know, anytime, you guys want to know something, just feel free to ask. So, we good to explain to them?
Yes, I think
Wilkerson,
everybody
you
okay on
good,
that one?
Fred?
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay, that's all we had under finance. Bertie, at some point, you're gonna come and share with us, the retiree dental optical info.
Yes, I'm almost there. I want to complete the month of October, so I'll have July, August, September, October, and 4 solid months of real data. So I've got 1 more week of bills to get in there. But
Okay.
other than that, I'll be ready.
Because what I personally am after, not anything very complicated, is just, should the retirees have the option of only, where they have, with 2 retirees in the same family, if only one of them participated, in other words, their check went towards the dental optical, and then they received the other one as a check, you know, how much more would that cost the board to do that? Would it be within the budgeted levy amount? That's really what I'd like to know.
And you'll be, once I get all this put together, you'll
That'll
be
be
able
a
to
part
see
of
it.
it.
You'll be able to see it real good.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, with nothing more in finance in, is that an all yes vote? Yes. Okay, the personnel, they have a motion. Ms. Gurley?
Second.
Ms. Wilson, second that. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Section A is the employment of short and/or long-term substitute professional personnel. Section B is employment of short and/or long-term substitute professional personnel pending the issuance of the short, long-term substitute permit. Section C is employment of service personnel. Section D is the transfer of service personnel. Section E is the employment of substitute service personnel. Section F is the leave of absence. And Section G is resignations and/or retirements, and it's noted under the effective date, whether it's a resignation or retirement. And,
Is that good?
well, I was going to ask
let's do that if you don't mind. We could listen and then come back and do that.
Okay.
All right. Anybody have any comments or questions about personnel? If not, then let's vote on personnel. Is that an all yes vote? Yes. We could, what I like, we just do that. Everybody can do anything else. Okay, let's go to comments and concerns. We have the LCHS sign. Is that my baby?
It is.
Well, as we've known, and I know Ms. Smith and I, we've battered about the old LCHS sign for, I don't know, it's been so many years now that, I don't know. But anyway, we need to do something about that sign. So I know for last year, Mr. Midkiff and I talked about the other day, we were seeking input from the students at the high school and the high school staff and the community. Well, we're not making any progress. So I've just decided that I want to make a proposal, and if anybody doesn't like it, they can say, okay, we don't like that, and here's what we're going to propose. So I'm going to put something on the table, and if you don't like it, then, well, somebody can come up with something else. But what I'd like to see us do is take the letters that are on the old sign, take them all off of there. Secondly, I'd like to see us in large black letters, diagonally put Panthers on that sign all the way over. And then on top of it, put a symbol of a panther that would meet the dimensions of it. Nothing elaborate. That's all I'd like to see us do. But in addition to that, I'd like to see us on our new sign, how it's designed. It has a center opening there. And to me, it was made to put a digital sign in there. So that's what I'm proposing that the board consider. That we take, as I said, the old sign, we take the letters off, we put Panthers on it in large black letters that can be seen very easily. We put a panther on top. And with our new sign, that we make it have a digital display in the center of it. That's what I would like the board to consider.
What's the Panther gonna look like?
It's going to be black, and it's going to be like a panther.
A big cat.
It's got to have fiery eyes.
I believe
Is it going to sit on top of the sign, or is it going to be?
it would have, Jeff, did you get the dimensions?
I contacted the local monument company that's going to come out next week and take a look at that sign and give us some ideas and suggestions,
Okay.
Suggestions as to what that could look like.
Right.
So I hope to have some more information for you soon.
Okay. That's what, I don't know, Carol, because I haven't seen it. Obviously, the dimensions would have to fit on there. But it doesn't have to be something that they might have in Pittsburgh or the Panthers or something, but.
I was just thinking if it's a panther up there, I guarantee you somebody's going to shoot that off there. They'll shoot it off.
Well, we'll put a security camera on the Panther.
If you make it out,
Panthers.
Carol, if it's made out of granite, that bullet's gonna ricochet right back at you too. So,
Win-win.
But, and Jeff and I talked about that, the possibility, it's just a target for vandalism, and we appreciate that. But, we're hopeful that, people would, and I don't even know if it'd be our own county people, if you have a rival somewhere, they might take it against you. But, some things you just take a chance. We just need to do something that would be symbolic of the school and finally do something with that albatross out there. It's been there too long.
think of how proud the students will be of that. Everything you've prescribed.
Well, I just think it does a lot of things. The digital sign, we're in a new world here, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get with it on that. We go out here to the PK8 school, we go to, all of our arts and everybody else is, you're all going to get there though, with it's just a matter of time. And, for us we have a tremendous facility out there and we're progressing piece by piece to make it even better. And we just need to get with it and have a sign there so that we don't have to pull in the 911 thing. No offense to them, but, I would rather us have our own sign there that could be controlled. And if we want to put community activities on that, so be it. But that's, Mr. Mickey will report back to us. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And Town Palace working on raising money for their digital
Yeah,
sign.
that's one, everybody's doing it, so I think if it means we have to run some electrical out there and put a sign there, then that's what we need to do. Okay, anybody else have any other comments or concerns? Mr. Wilkes?
Well, I have one, not probably for the next two board meetings. We'll have one Ranger and then the other one Monday night. This is too soon. But I would like to have the staff of, or a portion of the staff, at least our director, Mr. Christian, give us a comprehensive report on our vocational school. And I do mean comprehensive.
You know, follow up the students. What I think you're supposed to follow them 5 years after they leave school.
I think this is very much needed, and I think the board needs to be very involved with this.
I know the State Department came in, they did a review of the CTE and spent a few hours there as well.
Lakeland?
Don't- uh-huh.
Do we have the report?
No, we don't have the report. As of
Now, I understand that Monday is too soon, and then we'll be at Ranger the next time, perhaps, last board meeting of the month. Is that?
Well, we were looking at that as well. That's during Thanksgiving break.
When we have our curriculum meeting that we're setting up, would that tie into that?
It could.
I mean, it's part of the curriculum.
Is that in January?
Different aspect of it.
I suppose that would work.
Well, I mean, we can look at some different dates there.
That's fine.
That's fine.
And we should have a report back from, for the incoming.
Now, will the state give any kind of recommendations when they get the report back, or they just want to give a general report? You know?
I don't know what the report will look like.
Okay.
This is a new way of them going through all of the CTE programs. Now, it initially had been planned for an all-day, but the State Department changed the way that they were doing it this year, starting this year. So it was, they were there for a few hours. And Mr. Ruble was part of that as well, so.
You know, as Dee talked about there, even when Dr. Ferris was here, you know, well, that was a couple of years ago, that was one of the things that we emphasized even then, and not only our county, but throughout the state, that was, you hear that over and over again. So I agree with Mr. Wilkerson, it's something we need to find out more about, and see if we're moving in the right direction, or if we need to change some of our programs. But listen to that, it'd be great. Okay, anything else from anyone? Okay, if not, Ms. Lucas has requested a personnel executive session. Ms. Smith has made the motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Baker. The board will go into executive session at 6:43 p.m.